a star. I mean, that guy up there in the Steadicam is as much a star, I think, as you in this film.
Let me tell you, this guy here.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Let me tell you, by the time he was done, funny you bring that up, because he's running backwards, there's a guy pulling him. This thing was buckling at such a pace that he kept hitting. Those are unsheathed cables. So his coat literally was ripped. And this time, he's got Wesley with his blonde hair and blue eye and full out. He's like he was in New Jack City, but futuristic. Okay.
Well, you know I love you, but let me tell you something. You don't have a lick of sense doing some of this stuff that you were doing in this movie.
Right.
I mean, looking at your picture right there, you had to say, why am I doing this?
Yeah, well, this is the truth. I felt that I had to break some kind of mold. I was into a certain pattern. I was caught in this circular thing. I said, please, I was like, Lord, give me something that's out there, different, that we haven't seen for a long time. And believe it or not, it was just next day, it was presented. Mario says, I think I got what you really need. And he said, I said, what is this? It's about mountains. I said, I hate heights. I hate climbing. He goes, trust me, do it. And I went. Next day, we committed.
Well, you've got to be really proud of this. And this movie was very important to you, besides. That's why you worked so hard?
Yeah, I think, you know, in your life, you hit a couple crossroads that really make all the difference. Rocky was one, and this is the second big crossroad. I felt as though I was going into a kind of a doldrum. And, yeah, this, you might say, is a comeback.
Well, I mean, I never thought you left, but, I mean, this certainly is going to get you pumped up. I think it's going to make you feel good, because you don't hear a lot of good things about it. And you know, I'm just really, this is the best action movie I've ever seen. Now, that's quite a statement.
Thank you.
Because, I mean, I had to go through all the ones that I really like. I mean, the Die Hards and the early Rambo things. And I said, man, these are all good movies. But this thing is an unusual film. I don't know how it read. How could you possibly read a film like this and make any sense out of it? Because it really is a roller coaster ride.
Exactly right. What we tried to do is take the simple foundation of nature as being a character, set a panorama that was spectacular, and go back to basics. Old-fashioned, unpreachy, let it go. Bad guys are bad, good guys are good, and not try to get the two mixed up. And then Rennie Harlan used modern technology to bring nature to a certain kind of star quality that hadn't been seen before.
Were you ever scared? Really?
Every day. Every day.
Honestly, you were scared?
Oh, please. I mean, this is not me. This, you'll never see me in this position again, maybe in a shower or somewhere going, turn that thing off. But no. Every day I was so scared. But to me, it's kind of a good scared. It makes you a little bit alert. Your adrenals are going and there's something happening. But I was trusting my entire life, every day, to these climbers. And when they said go for it, I would go for it. But no,
All right, explain to me, why do these people, and you probably understand them now, the first thing anybody's going to say, normal folks are going to say, these people are insane. Why would you go up and hang upside down off a rock? I mean, what is that? It has to be a buzz, sure.
It's a buzz, and I found that every one of these guys are highly individualistic. And in society, they don't get a chance to be their own rulers, their own monarchs. They told me that when they climb, they are their own universe. They're their own God, their own devil, their own time, their own space. They are the architects of their destiny. If they make a mistake, it's their fault. And for that few hours or few days, no one can tell them anything. They're at their own mercy.
And they're in control of their life.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's
it's
what
control.
They love. Total control.
Because you're in a business, I'm in a business that we have no control.
No, I work for the public. I have about 200 million employers, you know, if I look at it that way. The studio also works for the public. I mean, you get right down to it, so it's tough. They work for themselves when they're up here. They're like birds.
I read a lot of things, you know, about the Hollywood stuff, and it just seems like some folks, I mean, what did you do over your career to make somebody mad? I mean, I read some of these things, and they don't know you, I bet. And you've obviously just hit a chord with, now a long time ago we talked about it, and you thought, well, maybe some of these critics they're just kind of jealous because you're able physically to do some things. But I think it's beyond that sometimes.
I do, too.
Are you politically incorrect? I mean, what are you sometimes?
Well, I guess I was politically incorrect, but not dealing with actual obvious politics. After Rocky, I moved very, very quickly. There was some friction on the set of Fist. Myself, Joe Esterhaus, Jewison. And again, I was considered almost a neophyte in the business. Right away, they say he's getting kind of uppity. My third film out, I wrote, direct, acted, produced, even sung the song. And I think the die was cast from there. It's just too much too soon, and I tended to be a little too outspoken. And when I go back and look at some of my interviews, they were a bit brazen. I said, I don't particularly like what this man is saying.
You had a lot of confidence. You have a lot of confidence.
Well, confidence, yeah, but it should be tempered with a little bit of consideration.
Well, that's called maturity. Too.
Exactly right.
We all kind of mellow out a little bit. What is the downside of being you? Now, you're a Superman. You look like a god out there. I mean, look at this character up there. You must look at that guy and say, I can't believe that's even me.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we all know the upside. What's the downside?
Well,
I mean,
you know, the truth is that really isn't me, in a sense. I'm basically a thin person. I mean, I put on 20 pounds to do this film. I'm not that big right now. So I wish I was. So I have something to aspire towards. But the downside of being me is, well, I feel as though I am kind of like this conduit for rumors and gossip and this and that, and also a downside is that I never really know what people's true feelings are to me. I can see, like, for example, the way people respond to me during Cliffhanger now than they responded to me, say, during Oscar. There is definitely my appeal is governed by box office success. That's one thing. So you have to be very obvious. Second of all, for my children, for them, it's very difficult because they now have this certain ideal that they have to be weighed against. So that's kind of a problem. But overall, I consider myself about the luckiest guy in the world. I mean, for anyone to complain in my position really is hypocritical.
well, congratulations on this film. And some of us are not box office fans. We love you all the time.
Oh, thank
all right,
you.
thank you.
Much. Thank you. Good.
Fair weather friends, box office fans.
Oh, it's the truth.
I know it's true.
Believe me, that phone stopped ringing.